Hey, what's up guys? It's TechSumer, talking to you here, and in today's video, I want to talk about the M1 Max MacBook Pro and why I think the M1 Max MacBook Pro is probably still one of your best bets for a very powerful laptop. Because if you don't know, the M2 Max MacBook Pro has been launched on the last month, I would say, and that computer has brought some type of performance jump, but not a lot. And now you can find the M1 Max MacBook Pro crazy cheap when compared when it was new. So in today's video, I want to talk about what's still relevant on the M1 Max MacBook Pro and why I think this computer is still a good buy. Is it still worth it? Is the screen still up to date? Is the memory, the RAM, even the CPU and GPU? Does the M1 Max MacBook Pro still hold up in 2023? Almost after 1.5 years of its launch. Because this computer, when it was launched, was one of the best performing laptops available, and 1.5 years, I gotta give you my experience, how it has been, and of course, is it still worth it or not? So, if you are excited, don't forget to drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, let's get started. So, the M1 Max MacBook Pro. This computer cost me, when I bought it new, $4,000. Yes, crazy expensive, but at that time, I thought it was worth it. When I was starting my channel, which was 1.5 years ago, when my channel started gaining some traction, I decided to buy a computer, so I invested in this M1 Max MacBook Pro. And I couldn't be more happy. This machine was launched in October, and I was very anxious to buy this computer because I did not have any laptop. I had an old Intel MacBook Pro 13-inch from 2016, the same i5 present on the 2015 model, so it was quite slow. It was a dual-core i5. I've made several videos on that computer. It's not that great. Just let me tell you, for editing videos, I had to edit on my iPad Pro 2018. At that time, I used LumaFusion and I was quite happy with that performance of that program. But then I decided to invest on my channel so I could bring the next level of editing, of videos, and I could say in the last 1.5 years, I've done it. I think that I've improved my videos enough that it's justified the M1 Max MacBook Pro expense. Of course, now I'm able to monetize my videos thanks to you guys. Thanks for all of your support. Now I can monetize my videos and start paying off this MacBook Pro. But like I was telling you, at that time, I paid $4,000 for this machine. It was quite expensive, I know. But then I decided that it was still worth it. Even at that time that I didn't know if I was able to monetize my channel and pay off my expenses from this computer, I knew this was worth it. Because not just the performance was good, everything else was incredible. The screen, the memory, the trackpad, the keyboard, the Touch ID, I mean, everything was good. I cannot express how much of an upgrade this machine was to me. And yes, when that happens, you just forget about the price. I know it's an expensive computer, but this computer just solves all my issues. And I can tell you, 1.5 years later, I couldn't be more happy. This machine will be my machine for the future. I do not even think about upgrading a computer, which is new to myself, because every year after a new tech product launches, I just think, oh, I need to get it, I need to review it, I need to see how good it is. But this year was the first time that happened, because when Apple launched the M2 Max MacBook Pro, I was very bored. I was like, okay, that's fine, thanks. I made a video, I compared both computers, the specs, that was it. I did not even try to upgrade or even review that machine because I did not have the will to do it. I bought the M2 Mac Mini, I made my reviews, my first impressions, all of that is on the channel, you can go check it out. But I decided not to upgrade for the M2 Max for simple reasons. This computer is still about 90% of the performance of that computer can deliver, and in day-to-day use, it's probably even less. So for myself, it was not even worth it because I'm not even maxing out this performance on this machine. So it doesn't make any sense for me to upgrade for the new computer. Now, let's talk about what I think it's still very relevant in this computer and why I think you should buy it, especially with the prices you can find in the used or refurbished markets. The first things that I think that this computer still holds up 100% perfectly is the design. The design of this computer is still the same as the M2 Max MacBook Pro. And so it's still very, very much relevant because it's the same design, still has the same ports, the same I/O. But the only thing that differs is that this machine features HDMI 2.0, while the M2 machines, they have the HDMI 2.1. The only difference is you can export and I would say, buy a screen that has 4K or 5K at 120 frames per second. So this machine cannot do it. That's why I think that Apple did that, because they want to build now a screen with ProMotion and 5K, so the new studio display, and so you will need to have the new generation of MacBook Pros. Do I care about that? Not even one bit. That's why I don't even consider that an upgrade. HDMI 2.1 is very specific of an upgrade, and even for people that do need it, I don't think they will just spend thousands of dollars again just to upgrade for it. So it's a very small upgrade. Another upgrade that ended up having with the M2 Max MacBook Pro was the Wi-Fi 6E. This machine has the Wi-Fi 6. I don't see why. Other than that, I think it was only the M2 Max then, but that's a talk for later down this video. I think that this computer, in terms of hardware, it's still very up to date. The design, like I told you, it's the same. It still has the same amazing display, the same amazing keyboard, the same amazing mouse, the same amazing speakers. Everything is the same because this computer is just perfect in those aspects. The keyboard is just very responsive, very tactile, very comfortable to type on, very stable and very high quality. Way better than the butterfly keyboard found on the older generation of these MacBook Pros. Then the trackpad, it's huge. It's force touch capable. So it's not a real trackpad. It's just a sheet of metal and glass, and it's like your old iPhone 7 buttons. Those home buttons were force touch enabled. So you weren't actually pressing the button, it was just giving you the feeling that you were pressing a button with an haptic engine. This is doing the same thing. So, I mean, it's the best trackpad in the business. There's not even a competition with this trackpad on the Windows side. And the M2 equipped machines, they have the same trackpad. So this is still the best trackpad on the game. You are not missing out by buying this old machine on that. Then you have the speakers. The speakers on this machine, like I told you, are the same as the speakers found on the M2 Pro and M2 Max. So again, you still have the best speakers on a laptop ever made. This is a comparison between the sound coming from this M1 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch and another crazy good Apple device. The iPad Pro 2018 has the same speakers as the iPad Pro 2020, 2021, 2022. So it's the quad speaker system on the iPad Pro. Take a listen and tell me why I'm telling you this is the best speaker system on a laptop ever made. And so, like I was telling you, the hardware here, it's still very up to date. It still has the same 1080p camera, it still has the notch, and the display, it's still very good. This display is a mini LED ProMotion panel, the same panel found, again, on the M2 Max MacBook Pro. So that computer, as I were probably understanding, is the same computer as this one with an M2 Max chip. So if this computer is like $1,000 off, you can find it, then what's making you not buy this one instead of the other one? What's making you not understanding that this computer, it's the best deal for the high performance MacBook available? So I'm telling you, this machine, it's still very relevant in 2023, and I don't know why lots of people are not talking about it. This display, in my opinion, is the best display on a laptop available. Yes, the M2 Max also has this display, but this one will be cheaper, a lot cheaper. And this display, like I was telling you, is ProMotion capable, 120 Hz refresh rate, and it still has a mini LED display. So the blacks are even better than an LCD, the colors even richer, even more contrast, and they look pretty sick. So yeah, I think that in terms of hardware, this machine is completely covered up for the future. And in terms of software, it's not even a talk, because Apple will support this computer, in my opinion, for like 12, 15 years. I want to see how well this machine ages in terms of software support, because this is the first generation of Apple Silicon. It's the M1 generation. Although it is the M1 Max, the second most powerful M1 generation chip, only trumped by the M1 Ultra, I do believe the M1 Max will give a lot of trouble in the future, because this machine is still extremely powerful and it's now 1.5 years. So I think Apple will cover it up pretty easily. Let's talk about now the performance of the M1 Max MacBook Pro. Yeah, this machine right here. It features the M1 Max, like I was telling you. The M1 Max has 10 CPU cores. Otherwise, the M2 Max has 12. This machine has 8 high-performance cores and 2 high-efficiency cores, while the M2 Max MacBook Pro features 8 high-performance cores and 4 high-efficiency cores. So yes, you have 2 more high-efficiency cores on the M2 Max when compared to the M1 Max. So in that case, you will have more battery life. The M2 Max features 22 hours of battery life, while this machine features 20. So 2 more hours while streaming video, that's kind of a lot. But then 20 hours, it's still industry-leading. Like, you won't find any laptop other than the MacBook Pros with M2 generation with better battery life than this. It's just ridiculous how good this lasts. Like, I can unplug it during the beginning of the week, do not do any editing, and then this machine will end up the week with like 30-40%. If I start doing editings, then yeah, after like 2-3 videos edited and exported, this machine will die. But that's still very ridiculous. Like, that's a power rate of 8 hours of work, which is just insane. I can do 8 hours of high intensity work here without even needing to plug. And another thing is, this machine can sustain full performance without being plugged in, while Windows machines cannot. Another reason, if you are doing very high intensive work, to go for the MacBook Pro. Because if you are going for a MacBook Pro, you want a very powerful but still portable machine that can give you all of that performance while being portable. And the M2 Max MacBook Pro can also do that, being $1,000 to $1,500 more expensive. But Windows machines can't. And that's why I do believe that the M1 Max MacBook Pro is still extremely relevant for everyone that are looking for a computer to do some 3D rendering, to do some video editing, to do some coding, everything that involves performance and high intensive tasks. This M1 Max MacBook Pro, in my opinion, it's still the king. Yes, it's not the most powerful on the game now. You have the M2 Pro and M2 Max MacBook Pros, but it's still the most powerful per dollar in terms of, okay, it's not that powerful when compared to the M2 Max, but it's way cheaper. So it actually levels out the difference in performance with the difference in price. So you can buy this machine when compared to the other one. And if you want to spend more money, or at least the same amount of money, you have $4,000 to spend, I will recommend you going for this machine, but upgrading it. For example, buy this machine, upgrade the storage, go for 8 terabytes of storage, or even 6 or 4. I don't know, just upgrade the storage, the RAM, whatever you want to do with that extra cash that you saved. Way better than spending $4,000 on the M2 Max and getting less storage and less RAM. So yeah, if you have the money to burn, then go for the M2 Max. That's a better machine. Like, it's proven to be a better machine. But this one, in my opinion, is a proven better value. So you kind of see where I'm landing with this review. I think that this M1 Max MacBook Pro is really, really worth it in 2023. And my 1.5 year review, this has been the best computer that I've ever bought. This has been the best purchase that I've ever made. Extremely happy, my favorite Apple product of all time, I gotta tell you. But I know you wouldn't leave this video without me giving you some benchmarks, so let's run it up. This machine has the M1 Max, while I will be comparing it to the M2 Max MacBook Pro. So this will be a very quick benchmark run. I will start by Geekbench 5, where the M1 Max MacBook Pro scored 1780 on single core and 12,695 on multi-core, while the M2 Max scored 2,060 on single core and 15,242 on multi-core. Going for the Geekbench 5 R23 test, the single core performance on the M1 Max 1,414 and the multi-core was 12,191, while for the M2 Max the single core performance was about 1,703 and the multi-core performance was about 14,775. So as you saw, those benchmarks demonstrate a difference in performance for about 15 to 20%. It's a good difference, don't get me wrong, like year-over-year upgrades is quite a big one. But at the end of the day, does it justify $1,000 extra? That's the question you had to answer. For myself, it isn't. And for probably 80 to 90% of you, it isn't. But for all of those that are looking to this video and saying, no, I need the most amount of performance that I can get on a portable machine, then of course, the M2 Max is for you. But let me know in the comments down below what you think, and what is your position on this matter. Do you think that the M1 Max MacBook Pro is still worth it? And if you have one, let me know your experience for the last year and a half. Of course, I still recommend you going for the M1 Max MacBook Pro. Like I told you, try to find it cheap, refurbished, used, whatever you want to go for. try to find the cheapest option with the most amount of RAM and storage. This is a 1TB, 32GB of RAM, M1 Max. This is my favorite computer ever. This has been my favorite Apple product ever. But let me know in the comments down below what you think. And of course, while you're there, follow my social networks, Twitter and Instagram. And of course, drop a like down below and subscribe. This has been Tech Smart talking to you here. Bye-bye.